Hello there and welcome to a fresh episode of the program Last Week in Nigeria. My name is Emmanuel Oriowo. Don't forget you can follow us on all our social media platforms talking about X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course we have a WhatsApp channel. Yes, we have a WhatsApp channel you can just look for at Last Week in Nigeria. Not forgetting our YouTube channel where you can subscribe, like, turn on the notification bell so you can get the notification for our subsequent episodes of the program. As usual, what we do on this program is to bring you highlights of the headlines that were published by national dailies last week in Nigeria. Don't forget, you can sponsor or advertise on this program so that you can get value for your money as we take you to the global space through our network. So it pays to advertise on At Last Week in Nigeria. Be the first to be heard. So let's begin with the Daily Independent newspaper. On the front page, we have this one as reported last week in Nigeria, and it says, airlines set to reduce fares as MAN, that is the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, sees inflation easing. Well, they said it's easing, but Nigerians need to feel that on their tables, in their pockets, in their bank accounts. How easy is it to survive in Nigeria today? All of that you need to know. Well, as reported by the Daily Independent newspaper last week in Nigeria. Electricity tariff, Rep Speaker mulls bill for NAS stakeholders consultation before hike. That's still on the Daily Independent newspaper. You recall that recently the news broke out that the former Kogi State governor in person of YAHAYA BELLO has been declared wanted. Why? Because he needs to come and explain so many things that happened while he was in the saddle as the governor. Also, the former aviation minister under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, all of them now are in the news. How? Because they need to answer some questions from the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Now, the Nigerian Tribune captions it this way: EFCC exposes Bello, grills Sirika, freezes 300 accounts. How does that work? Well, it's in the news, and that was reported last week in Nigeria. Also, we have this one, bleeding economy. That's the way the Leadership newspaper puts it. Stakeholders want stiffer penalties for oil thieves. What about the cash thieves? Because people also move money, not just oil. All right, we have this one from the Guardian newspaper. It was reported last week in Nigeria. EFCC intensifies manhunt for Bello, detains Sirika, freezes 300 accounts. That's just the way most of the newspapers have that particular story as reported last week in Nigeria. And from the Nigerian News Direct, the front page says, again, yeah, I had to scream. Dangote refinery crashes diesel and aviation fuel prices. That was reported by the Nigerian News Direct. Again, yes, because he just brought it to 1,000 there. And now he's saying, no, I'm going further, below. Maybe Nigerians will heave a sigh of relief with this reduction in the prices of commodities that we use on a daily basis in Nigeria. The Daily Times newspaper has this one, and it has to do with electricity tariff. It says, Speaker to sponsor bill for compulsory NAS stakeholders consultation concerning the electricity bill. New Telegraph reported this one last week, and it has it on the front page. It says, Imo Ihedioha, BOT member, ex-reps member, local government party chairman dump the PDP. It appears so many things are going on within the PDP, but the leaders are saying they're fine. It's a family affair. They're here to resolve things, and they'll be heading into the next election in Edo State and in Ondo State, for instance. That will get to show us how prepared they are for the task ahead. Sweet Crude newspaper has this one, and it says, Nigeria's oil reserve now 37.5 billion barrels. And that sounds like a good news, but well, we hope it's going to translate to something great for us. Revealed how Emefiele printed 684.5 million naira notes with 18.9 billion naira, says EFCC. That's on the front page of the first newspaper as reported last week in Nigeria. And this one, how EFCC nabbed Sirika over 8 billion naira fraud. That was taken by the Daily Trust newspaper. The story is common to most of the papers last week. Look at the way the Nation captions it. EFCC arrests Sirika, slams Emefiele with fresh charges. The Punch also has it this way. EFCC may prosecute 300 forex racketeers. So many stories that involves the EFCC last week in Nigeria. In fact, we even saw the chairman of the commission addressing the press conference where he said he personally called YAHAYA BELLO to invite him, to give him a VIP treatment for him to just come and explain how he got to withdraw over $700,000 US to pay his children's school fees in advance. But this Nigeria, drama no they finish. Well, the Daily Sun newspaper puts it this way. Alleged 8 billion naira money laundering. EFCC grills detains Buhari's aviation minister, Sirika. You recall, Sirika brought in a plane branded Nigeria Air that was supposed to fly. But the rest is story. Now he needs to explain to the EFCC what went down. The Business Time newspaper gave us the story last week, and we had it this way. Flight cancellation, how airlines swindle passengers. Also last week, you recall that Dana Airline, one of their planes skidded off the runway, and that led to the decision of the Minister of Aviation in person of Festus Keyamo, who said, Dana Airline, you guys are grounded for now. Okay, more stories concerning our developments in this nation. Vanguard newspaper takes the Dangote story and it captions it this way. Dangote refinery cuts diesel, jet A1 fuel prices to 940 naira and 980 naira respectively. The Daily Independent says on the front page last week in Nigeria, following the development of the decision of Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation, the Daily Independent captions it this way. Keyamo lacks power to suspend Dana Air. The aviation experts are speaking here. That was reported by the Daily Independent newspaper last week in Nigeria. Tinubu, we need more functional justice system to protect rights of all citizens. That's on the front page of These Day newspaper. Below the nameplate, Sanwo-Olu, we have offered free food to 500,000 households in Lagos under eco-cares. Above the nameplate, Nigeria's treasury bills auction oversubscribed by 254.23%. And sale of discos came to the fore. As reported by the Leadership newspaper, it says export labels want debt reading firms unbundled. EFCC discovers Yahoo training schools in almost all the states. How did we get there? The Nigerian Tribune has that on the front page, that EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, discovered Yahoo schools where they get to train people. I wonder what kind of certificates will they issue at the end of the day. But well, that was reported last week in Nigeria. It had so many riders, but let's save time. The New Telegraph has this one. Oyedele Tax Reforms Committee wants defaulters declared unfit for political polls. How weak power lines, vandalism worsen electrocution incidents. That's the way the Guardian newspaper puts it. Now for the Vanguard newspaper, LP PDP kick as US report says 2023 poll mirrored Nigeria's will. That's the way the Vanguard newspaper puts it. Last week in Nigeria, we also saw the video that went viral that has to do with bullying that led to the shutting down of the activities of that school, a British school in the city of Abuja. Well, I don't know how this got back into our system. And of course, you find out kids going to school with smartphones. Well, it's a smart world. Also last week in Nigeria, we heard the news that popular Yoruba actor Baba Ijesha appealed the jail sentence that was handed him some years ago. I'm full of the sporting gist, and this one, Igalo, I am in Saudi Arabia to make money. That's the way he captions it. And that was reported by the Sporting Sun last week in Nigeria. On that note, I want to draw the curtain on this episode of the program of Last Week in Nigeria. My name is Emmanuel Oriowo. On behalf of all of us here at the production crew, we want to say please join us again next week. But don't forget that you can advertise your products and services on this program. And also, log on to our website, www.lastweekinnigeria.com, and follow us on all our social media platforms using the handle @LastWeekInNigeria. Kindly join me next week for a fresh episode. Bye for now.